Welcome back to a small section of scraping the plate. What we're going to be going over today is some really easy things to make, which is crostini. And I'm not talking about a bruschetta, I'm talking about crostini. So this is like, I would say it would be close to a homemade ham and cheese sandwich or tomato and cheese or grilled cheese, but it uses ricotta. Ricotta, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, and a little bit of basil. So to give it that nice little crunchy taste. And it's something you have before a meal. Some things that come into play: fresh cracked black pepper, Himalayan salt, and then actually a roasted garlic. So it's not very often that I use a roasted garlic, but it's quick, it's fast, it already has that flavor, and I like to use a little bit of that oil too. So that's gonna add the flavor. It's already cooked up, and we're gonna stick that in the Ninja, and you know the Ninja. It likes to chop things up. That's what it does. So we'll get that in and make a nice fluffy whipped cream. We're gonna take some tomatoes, and what I prefer to use is cherry tomatoes. They're a little bit sweeter than the plum tomatoes, but you just wanna cut those down and make them the size of a bite. So you don't want them too big in your mouth. You wanna have a bite-sized piece. And we're gonna add a little flavor. We're gonna add a little bit of roasted red peppers with it too. Another one of my favorites, and maybe a little bit of onion. Not a lot, but just a hint of onion. So a few of those things, and always use a green olive oil. Don't use the yellow stuff. It's corn. It's not what's recommended if you're going to be making anything in the kitchen. Go with green. You know it's fresh and you know it's organic. Over here, the bread. As far as the bread, focaccia bread works really good. This is an Italian scalli bread. And a lot of people don't have the big toaster, so they might have to toast each side because it's so cut wide in the middle. Or if you have a toaster oven, they work great. They'll go right in those little brevels that they have out there. They do a phenomenal job. So you want to toast that, and then you want to make a spread. That's it. Toast with a spread. And you think, you know what? Hey, it's kind of hard. This is only 10 minutes. And you can put this together, and the taste is absolutely amazing. And again, it's crostini. It's the way it's supposed to be eaten when you have cheese and you have toast. Now after chopping a little bit of these tomatoes, we're going to chop some of these peppers. We're going to go pull ahead the seeds out of them real quick. Tap them a little bit, make sure all that's out of there. And then we're just going to lay that down, and we're just going to cut like strips. So you have strips. And again, you want to make sure you have like a really sharp knife. You don't want to be like grinding away into it. Sharper the knife, it's actually safer for you when you know how to cut. So you want to make sure that comes right through there. And it's 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't want to get cut in. Again, it's bite size. So you want to make bite-sized pieces of that. And I chopped up some basil there too. But again, my fingernails are protecting my fingers. And I'm cutting up little pieces of these red pepper. So I got some red pepper. I got some tomatoes. Put in there. A little bit of basil, and it's the sweet, and it's the smooth taste of the ricotta. It's the salt, it's the pepper. It's those little things that make a real big difference. Again, we're gonna take a pan. We're gonna take some oil, put some oil in that pan and get it ready to go. We're gonna move that around a little bit too once we get the salt and pepper in there. Here's something I want to show you though, and this is something that like from Neanderthal days. This stuff here is always better because you have a grinder that you'll have at home, and it's always out of batteries. It always gets stuck on the pepper. But with this one, a little bit of salt, easier on the salt. You don't need a ton of salt. Again, it's for flavor. So this, I take it and I mash some of that down. But this thing, from Neanderthal days, I can actually see the pepper breaking up. So I don't want it as a ground pepper. I still want a big pieces of flakes of pepper. And I can control actually how I make it. And let me tell you, these things, for what they're worth the weight in gold to me. When you put it into the plate, now that I have my salt and pepper, I got my garlic over here. I'm just gonna take my tomatoes, and we wanna roast them. So roasting them in the oven behind me, we're going to actually put it into a different mode. A lot of people are used to, when they look at it, they're used to like a broil or a bake, okay? It's not a bake, it's a broil. Put your broil on high, set your dish high, so the heat can radiate down onto the food. And basically what it does, it softens it up. So for digestion reasons, it's easier to digest. And you take out some of those bad chemicals in the tomatoes. Anything that's there, you take it down. And there's not a lot of seeds in this one. I got more of a fleshier tomato in here. So there's not a lot of seeds. There's more flesh, less skin. So a little bit of basil and then a little bit of garlic. So I'll take a little garlic, but not a lot of garlic. You don't want to have it too garlicky. And then that's it. There you go. There's my crostini mix. Tomatoes, basil, and a little bit of peppers. That's it. A little bit of salt and pepper to give you that flavor. So we have our herbs, we have salt and pepper, and we're just going to go ahead and throw it in. Again, broil. I'm going to hit high, get that going. It's not going to take that long. Again, you just want to pull that down. You want to get it ready for starting the digestion process. So you want to have it like kind of loose. You know, like the skin coming away from the pulp in the tomato and the pepper, and it's just got that really resilient flavor. I love when you get the Holy Trinity together, and that's the basil, the tomato, and the garlic. To me, Holy Trinity all day long, and it gives you that right flavor. We got the salt and pepper going. Everything's in there. Let's get to the whip, and the whip is the ricotta, which is the cheese that we're using, and we're going to use something called a Ninja for that. Let's break that out. 5 or 6 minutes to do that. We're going to take our ricotta. We're going to throw that in the Ninja. We're going to, again, a little bit of salt and pepper. And you control the amount that you put in there. Getting towards the bottom of the bowl on this one. We're going to put a little bit more in there. A little bit of garlic. And that's, again, to add a little bit of taste. And then, as I said before, you can add a little onion. You can either soften the taste of the onion if you put it in like cold water and pull some of the taste out of there. But if you like that bite, that little extra, another note, put the whole thing in there. A little bit of dash of oil. And what else do we got to put in there? Come on, guys. You sticking with me? Garlic, onion, salt, pepper, and this is the star of it, basil. A little bite of basil. You just put it all in there. And that's it. We're going to run this over here. Okay, so we're going to slide a little bit off camera here. We're going to do the Ninja to chop up the food here and make that whipping sauce. And we're using a regular toaster now, so we're kind of cheating. Got to put it in both sides because it's so long, that scally bread. But most people have the bigger toasters you can put it into, like a Breville and so on. But we're going to zap this. And you can put it in a pulse mode. And a great safety feature with that is when this is doing it, is you cannot unlock this feature unless you pull the top off on it, you know, so it's kind of cool. It locks, and then if you just open it, it'll stop. Perfect toast. You gotta be careful. You can smell when toast is perfect. That's perfect. And that's it. I mean, we're whipped up and ready to go to do the spread. So we're going to spread some of that onto the actual toast itself while it's warm. And you can have a bowl set aside, anything you want to make that happen, or use a spoon. Or you want to use a crazy knife like this. I knew where it was at. One of these things here, really get into the edges of this. And you don't want to waste any of that good ricotta. You want to make sure you get all the good stuff. So you have a spoon like this, which scrapes the sides, and you want to be generous when you're making a crostini. You want to spread a lot of ricotta on there. And you can see that level of basil. You can come in close on it now, Tom. Yeah. So yeah, you really spread it on there. Coming. So it's basically almost done. We're just waiting on our tomatoes and our peppers, which are roasting. And we'll get to that as soon as they come out. So almost there.
We have
Okay.
on both. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. So, well, first thing you need is an oven mitt. So they've only been in there a few minutes, but again, we don't want to cook them all the way down. We don't want them black. We don't want them burnt on the top or anything like that, because that's going to throw your flavor off. We just want them started. So let's see where it's at. Yeah, that's not bad. You see that where it's starting to brown a little bit, but we don't want to cook it. You know, we want to leave it like that. That's where we want to be. So a few more seconds. And it's cool. LG gives you a warning if you have the door open when you're using that. But it's something what you're doing today. Fairly easy. All right. Then we have like a short intermission or something like that. You know, Tom says something funny. All right. Go ahead and pull it out. Turn the stove off. And then we'll come over here, Tom, to the other side. Tom's our camera guy today. But we have it set now. I'm going to just go ahead and grab these. Because again, the tomatoes are going to be hot. The peppers are going to be hot. And you can cook them down a little bit more if you want to. That's totally up to you. But like, again, this is the time thing. You come home at the end of the night and you want to make a nice little sandwich for yourself. We'll put the tomato on there and then the pepper. And you can see where they're kind of almost cooked. It'll have that nice warm flavoring to it. And I put a little basil in there. And yeah, you know, if you want, you can have, if someone likes onions, they can throw a little onion on there too. If they want. Or you could throw some more basil, finely chopped. You can take your basil when you cut your basil, just fold it on itself a few times and then cut it. And then it comes out like long strips. So here, coming close on this one, Tom. So this, I can come in and I can put that extra basil on top if you want to. That's totally up to you. But there you're almost done at that point. And then the last thing that you really want to put on there is a glaze, a balsamic glaze. And we're going to do that in front of these both cameras. You ready, Tom? Perfect. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm a foodie and a half, you're going to take a quick, like, little tight one of that, right? I mean, look at that. And it just smells and looks beautiful. I wish you guys could smell the basil, the garlic, the roasted tomato, and then just take that crunch. Oh. Okay. On that note, we're going to have to take 5. And I'm going to have to devour this whole piece because I am starving. And there's nothing better than, to me, having that great Italian taste, the Holy Trinity in your mouth. Tomato, garlic, oh man, pepper, and cheese. Everything is just taking off right now, but you really feel the basil. The balsamic is another note. Just all these notes piled up on top of each other to make the food just absolutely delicious. Well, you better stop. I'm just gonna eat.